KHOW invites you to be listening to Ray Durkee beginning Sunday, April 6th, as he begins the most complete and comprehensive series of America's pop records ever on Sunday at the Memories.
I'm all shook up.
Every million seller, from the first one until 1980.
And Bobby love.
April love.
Don't go breaking my heart. At the Copacabana.
Don't miss it. A to Z in alphabetical order, the real million sellers, beginning Sunday, April 6th on Sunday at the Memories from Radio 63, KHOW.
Days gone by, friends we had, times were good, times were bad. Friends and lovers and family, bring back those favorite memories. With Sunday at the Memories, Sunday at the Memories. Listen for the days of those used to be on Sunday at the Memories. For the days of those used to be on Sunday at the Memories.
Well, good friends, I must tell you, I was just sitting here with my Easter bonnet and all the frills upon it, and I thought, doggone it, we've got to do that. I mean, there's just one thing I must do today, and that is the Easter Parade. Now, that recording is by Guy Lombardo, the vocal stylings of Don Rodney, and in 1946 it would sell 1 million copies. The song Easter Parade on record also sold 1 million for Harry James. But today is, of course, Easter, 1980, and I must play that. I shall start a brand new series. I'll tell you about it in just about 2 minutes, and we'll get off and running with it, but first I have to take care of a little business. Yeah, I'm going to win myself some money, and that's why I want to take care of a little bit of business early in the show. I ran into Haney Howell last night from Channel 9. He dropped by the London house, and so I had to check something, and I went back through the Billboard charts. And he told me that he was playing Sorry, I Ran All the Way Home by the Impalas in 1957. And in a very nice way, I said, Haney, you're nuts. You played that in 1959. He said it was 57. I know. Don't argue with me. So I looked it up, and I rechecked it, and he can recheck it, but he owes me $2. That was Cub record number 9022. It first hit the charts on the 22nd day of March in 1959. It did make it to number 2. Total time in the charts, 18 weeks. And so to Mr. Howell at Channel 9, you owe me $2. Thank you very much. All right, brand new series. We'll talk about it in 2 minutes.
There's no time like today to visit Spanish
Canada Dry Club Soda.
I'm Ray Durkee. This is Sunday at the Memories. Today we're going to begin a brand new series. It'll be the most complete, comprehensive, concise series on America's pop records that I've ever done for you on Sunday at the Memories. What it is A through Z, alphabetically, by title, the real million sellers in this country. And it'll go from the very first one through the end of 1979, or until 1980. Now, there's 2 very important guides that I want to mention before we start rolling the million sellers with the A title. Number 1, any record is going to be a part of the series and a part of the book if it sold 1 million at the time of popularity, okay? If it sold 1 million at the time of popularity. That's one of the guides. And the other thing that's very important, the years listed will be the year the record was released, unless, just one exception, unless it came out the last week of the year, okay? Now, I'll do my best to give you the title of the song, the artist, the year, of course. And we'll do it alphabetically. The total, if you can believe it, it's 1,491 of them. So that means it'll probably take me a good 7 to 8 months. It's going to be chock full of memories and some real history in American music, I kid you not. The title, beginning with the letter A. We have 52 of them. Here's the first one, 1951, a very young Debbie Reynolds, along with Carlton Carpenter. Very very good. That's a little thing called Abba Dabba Honeymoon. That will be the very first million seller of the year 1951. And I heard somebody on KHOW this past week talking about Debbie Reynolds. She had a birthday, was it? 48 years old sometime this week. So she was 19 when she did that with Carlton Carpenter, and they sold 1 million. It's called Abba Dabba Honeymoon, and it's 1951. Okay, as far as the weather today, the biggest problem is going to be the wind. It'll be partly cloudy today, wind 20 to 30, higher along the foothills with a high of 58. Tonight, clear and windy, gusts possibly up to 60 miles an hour along the foothills, and a low of 40. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, warm, still windy, high of 65. So we have, for the most part, lots of sunshine, a good Easter Sunday temperature at 52, but the wind is just ridiculous. It is 1968, and as far as a personal opinion, this is one of the greatest records Dion DiMucci ever recorded. And it sold 1 million copies. It begins with the letter A, and it's called Abraham, Martin, and John. 1968 with Ray Durkee at KHOW. If a record sold 1 million, if it begins with the letter A, then you're going to hear it because we're into the A's, the million sellers, A to Z. That one, 1968. Isn't that fine? That's Abraham, Martin, and John, and it's done by Dion DiMucci.
Now you can enjoy the luscious...
KHOW's looking forward to our Academy Awards party on Thursday, April 10th at the Lady and the Dove. And you'll have more chances to catch spring fever with us in the coming weeks. We've got more I Love You Denver parties and special events like a 10,000-meter run and breakfast with Hal and Charlie. All part of the spring fever celebration with Radio 63, KHOW.
Engelbert Humperdinck on a Sunday at the Memories with Ray Durkee at KHOW. It sold 1 million in 1977. Good song.
So I sing you to sleep.
Oh, I'm primed for this series. We're going to have so much fun, and we'll find out about real million sellers. Delightful record, 1977. There's Engelbert Humperdinck and After the Lovin'. Now, let me tell you something about the letter A. For instance, you will find that as far as any song title that has sold 1 million beginning with the letter A, the total is 52. Yes, 52 of them, and it means that I'll get through all 52 on the show, I think. Our oldest million seller will be 1938. Our latest is going to be 1979. From the decade of the 20s, there are none. The 30s, 2 of them. In the 40s, 6. The 50s, 18 million sellers. In the 60s, only 6. And in the 70s, 20. That's what the letter A is all about.
Who did you spend last Saturday night with? Was it Wicked Wanda? Sigmund Freud? Donna Summer? What about Blondie's Debbie Harry? Ah, and hundreds of the world's most beautiful women.
Penthouse Magazine, on sale at newsstands everywhere.
1976, brand new group on the scene, one-hit record, here today and gone tomorrow. This is the Starland Vocal Band, an Afternoon Delight. It sold 1 million.
Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon delight. Afternoon delight.
Starland Vocal Band, Afternoon Delight. Million seller, 1976. Ray Durkee here at KHOW. Sunday at the Memories with 1 million sellers, A to Z. This is the first show in the series. We're doing the letter A, of course. I'm going to take you back to 1949. There was a relatively young guy, brand new on the scene, getting his first million seller. Great voice. This is an old 78 by Vic Damone, and Again. Quality-wise, that'll be one of the worst. It's called Again.
Again.
Vic Damone in 1949. Well, it is 1977. And Joe Tex ain't gonna bump no more with no big, heavy-set woman. Oh, talk to me, Joe. Talk to me.
3 nights ago, I was at a disco. How this one do?
Ain't gonna bump no more. You want to mark that down? Ain't gonna bump no more with no big, heavy-set woman. That is Joe Tex, little disco stuff that came in 1977. Also, I should mention, if we're playing the million sellers, yes, every one of them sold at least 1 million. That's not to say they did not sell upwards as high as maybe 10, 15, 20 million. All right? So we'll mention that. But we are into the series now. It'll go A through Z. There's 1,491 of them. Today it's the A's with a total of 52.
This week on the Special of the Week, Michelob presents Fleetwood Weekend.
Were made for Michelob.
Yeah.
Tonight at 6, brought to you by Anheuser-Busch St. Louis and Radio 63, KHOW.
Well, KHOW welcomes spring to Denver with our annual Spring Prom. It'll be at the Marriott Hotel Sunday, April 13th. You can dance to the music of the Air Force Academy Falconeers and enjoy memories of proms from your past. Tickets are on sale from Seniors Incorporated, so you make plans to join us Sunday the 13th. It begins at 7 p.m., and it's co-sponsored by KHOW, KBTV, and the Marriott. KHOW loves you, Denver. It is 1955. And there's 2 recordings of this song to sell 1 million. And one is titled, Ain't It a Shame? The other's titled, Ain't That a Shame? So the first one is Ain't It a Shame? Fats Domino, 1955.
You made me cry.
Mr. Fats Domino, Ain't It a Shame, 1955. Great record by Fats. A number of our A million sellers. The latest one actually is coming up right now because it was 1979. There's only one of them. A couple of guys were new on the scene in 79. They had 1 million their first time out. Here is McFadden and Whitehead, and Ain't No Stopping Us Now. Sunday at the Memories at KHOW with Ray Durkee. That is McFadden and Whitehead. The year is 1979. Their song is Ain't No Stopping Us Now. We'll have some news for you in 15 minutes at 11 o'clock. It is 15 away from 11. Sunday at the Memories at KHOW with Ray Durkee and the A Million Sellers. Our temperature is 52. We're going as high as 60. Your biggest problem today is naturally the weather. Partly cloudy, wind 20 to 30, higher along the foothills with a high of 58. Clear and windy, gusts possibly up to 60 along the foothills, low 40 tonight. Tomorrow partly cloudy, high 65, and again, a good chance of some wind activity. And right now at our KHOW Weather Center, very pleasant 52, lots of sunshine, but oh, so windy. If you have a little time this Tuesday night, why don't you come out and join me at the Kings Wharf Disco. That's in the Marriott Hotel over in Hampton, and I play my oldies. A lot of folks come out because they like to listen to it and dance to it. Start at 9, have good fun, cover it all, whether it's the 50s, 60s, or 70s. You can come out early, try some family-style dining in the Fairfield Inn, or maybe some elegant dining in the all-new Chaparral. But it's a neat place, and some good folks coming out. We're having fun. That's Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock, Kings Wharf Disco at the Marriott.
The only thing we charge you for is what we do, and if you can do it,
Residential marketing.
All right, let us go to 1971. There was a brand-new fella on the scene. This was his first hit record. He's had 2 or 3 million sellers. Great voice. His name, Bill Withers.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Ain't No Sunshine, the exciting Mr. Bill Withers, his very first million seller. It was in 1971. And the 70s were good to Bill. I think he has 2 or 3 million sellers that we'll be talking about, but I think this was the first. And Ain't No Sunshine. Excuse me. I get all choked up. I'm high for this series. Good fun, great memories, and some real history in American music. Every record that's ever sold 1 million, whether it was a 78 or 45 from the first one until 1980, has nothing to do with albums, so do remember that.
There are Mexican foods.
Mexican food you can feel at home with from Del Monte.
This group left Motown. They went to ABC Paramount. And in 1973, the Four Tops get 1 million with Ain't No Woman Like the One I Got. I'm Ray Durkee. Let's have at it.
Ain't no woman like the one I've got.
That is by Levi and the Tops, Ain't No Woman Like the One I Got. The year is 1973. It would sell 1 million copies. 5.5 minutes away from 11 o'clock. It is 52 degrees today in Mile High Denver. We'll peak out probably about 58, and a lot of folks will be doing a lot of driving today, going to and coming from various Easter services, and a lot of folks might be getting off the mountains on a good weather day like today. But I would imagine the mountain areas, especially along the foothills, it could probably be even windier. So be extremely careful if you're driving out in those open areas, because apparently the winds are going to continue quite strong.
On Channel 6.
Now, I was talking earlier about Fats Domino. It's titled Ain't It a Shame? And if you go alphabetically, the same song was recorded by Pat Boone the same year, and it too sold 1 million, but it's titled Ain't That a Shame? So alphabetically, it falls a few records down, right? Here again is Pat Boone.
You made me cry when you said goodbye. Ain't that a shame?
Pat Boone, Ain't That a Shame, 1955. Well, we're going back into the 70s. It is 1972. And a great performer by the name of Jerry Butler teams up with Brenda Lee Eager, and together they come up with a great ballad that sells 1 million. Here on a Sunday at the Memories, Ain't Understanding Mellow. Lance will give us the news next. Jerry Butler, Brenda Lee Eager, 1972, a million seller. Song title starting with the letter A and Ain't Understanding Mellow with Ray Durkee on a Sunday at the Memories. Hey, KHOW brings you live play-by-play Major League Baseball to Denver. You listen this Thursday night at 8 for the Athletics Twins opener on Radio 63, KHOW in Denver.
Good morning. I'm Lance Lamont in the KHOW News Center at 11. This just in, the official Iranian news agency says an international commission has been formed in Tehran to seek a solution to the hostage crisis. Quoting informed sources, the agency said the commission consists of the Swiss ambassador, the papal nuncio, 2 French jurists, and a Greek Catholic archbishop. In Tehran, 3 U.S. clergymen delivered mass for 50 Americans who continue to be held hostage by Iranian militants. It's now day 155 for the hostages. Easter Day is being celebrated differently around the world. In Rome, more than 300,000 people stood in the Vatican to hear Pope John Paul II denounce world terrorism, and he called on the world to give its faith to Christ. In Jerusalem, hundreds of thousands of people converged on the city to the site where Jesus supposedly laid after dying on the cross.
People come from all over the world to be in the old city of Jerusalem for Easter Sunday services, especially to be here in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Christian tradition says Jesus was resurrected on the first Easter nearly 2,000 years ago. Worshippers from different Christian denominations kept to a tight schedule here in the church because this year the Easter celebrations of all Western and Eastern churches coincide. One of the most emotional spots in this church is the Stone of the Anointment, where Jesus' body is said to have laid after being taken down from the cross. Pilgrims kneel down here and kiss that stone, wiping its holy water over their faces. This is Howard Aronstein in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in the Old City of Jerusalem.
For 950 union workers of the Montford of Colorado meatpacking plant, Easter Sunday is being spent unemployed. The 950 were laid off last week after the plant shut its doors, citing financial difficulties. But the workers say that story doesn't ring true. They say the plant was shut down in an effort to break up the union. They say when management thinks they've accomplished that, the plant will reopen. For President Carter and Ronald Reagan, Easter is a day of happiness after winning the Louisiana presidential primary yesterday, both by wide margins, capturing the majority of the state's delegates. This Tuesday is the big showdown for 6 Colorado Republican candidates for the U.S. Senate. The 6 will debate at Cherry Creek High School. The event is being billed as the first major confrontation between all Republican candidates. Activity inside the Mount St. Helens volcano slowed somewhat yesterday. One scientist says, quote, "It would be fair to say that Mount St. Helens has reached a plateau of volcanic activity. The National Guard has been called in to keep crowds at a safe distance." The FBI has denied it obtained information about a Vermont man from the 1980 census, but Washington officials say the Census Bureau will investigate the charge. A spokesman says the Census Bureau wants to clear up the accusations as soon as possible, so cooperation in the 1980 census won't be affected. Negotiators for striking New York City transport workers and the Metropolitan Transit Authority return to the bargaining table tonight. The union says city and state officials are to blame for a deadlock in the talks. Both sides are also presenting cases in contempt hearings before the state Supreme Court. Japanese Prime Minister Ohira said today that his government will go ahead with its decision to boycott the Olympic Games this summer in Moscow. Ohira has supported President Carter's boycott plan from its inception. His announcement came on the eve of a visit by the chairman of the Soviet Committee on Sports. The KHOW Weather Center forecast calls for partly cloudy today with winds 20 to 30 miles per hour, higher along the foothills, and a high of 58. Tonight, clear and windy with gusts possibly up to 60 miles per hour along the foothills and a low of 40. For Monday, partly cloudy, warm, and still windy with a high of 65. The current downtown temperature is 50 degrees, and I'm Lance Lamont, KHOW News.